these are the letters we just saw, and to find this out, he lays models of the letters of the Arabic, Hebrew, and Greek into a tetrahedron, photographs it, and then you get a blow-up of an energy, a spiral. So when the ancients said that their script, their letters of their alphabets were sacred, they were, because they were showing a model of an energy process. La prossima. This is just a close-up. La prossima. How did the ancient people codify hyperdimensional principles in their writing 2,500 years before we went to Mars? Why have intelligently carved objects been found in coal beds 300 million years old, possibly as achingly old as Richard's now discovered structures on the moon? Who built the Sphinx over 9,000 years ago and why? And la prossima. Why is there a face that looks like us and pyramids, mathematically and inextricably connected to those still standing on this planet, lying on a Martian desert? Structures projected by Richard and his colleagues as abandoned about 200,000 years ago, just when science now suggests we first appeared on Earth. La prossima. But most important, why don't we, no, not just assembled at this conference, but all the ordinary peoples of this planet, why don't they know about any of this? On 20 July 1965, and keep that date in mind, 20 July, exactly 4 years to the day that Neil Armstrong took his first step for all mankind on the moon, the Soviet unmanned spacecraft Zond 3 took 25 photos of this object during its 1.5 hour path. You see down here in the corner? Well, there's a little hump here on the surface of the moon. You can see that. This structure, 30 miles high and 90 miles wide, La Proxima, is north of Mare near the crater Gassendi, and is visible from even Earth telescopes in the lower left-hand quadrant in the 7 to 8 o'clock position during the full moon, and it can be seen from Earth. This photo was published by NASA in 1968 in a book entitled Exploring Space with a Camera. SP-168 is the number of that publication. It is the remains of an extremely ancient and fragmented glass dome, La Proxima. Apollo 17 astronauts reported bright flashes of light when they flew well north of it within 1,000 miles to the south. What is as important about this photo as the fact that it exists is that it could not have been an accident that it was captured on film. What is the significance of the date on which it was photographed? 20 July 1965, 20 July. The Soviet Space Agency had to design a special trajectory for it to arrive at that specific date, because this was not an orbiter or a lander, it was a flyby. It coincides with the landing of Apollo 11 and Neil Armstrong's first step on the lunar surface, 20 July 1969. In 1976, the landing of Viking Lander A, or 1, was delayed 16 days for it to coincide with this date, 20 July 1976. Is this a coincidence? The odds that those dates are coincidental is astronomical, and the pun is intended. 20 July must be a message of some kind which is shared between these two powers, the United States and the former USSR. But what? We are in contact with Dr. Alexei Arkhipov of the Radio Astronomy Institute of the Ukraine and others in the Russian Federation who are trying to assist us in finding the other 24 photos of this object, but they are unable to find anything. We ask for help in locating these crucial photos through whatever international we can obtain.
attraverso qualunque tipo di assistenza.
Who doesn't want us to know? Why have our world governments gone to such great lengths to keep these things hidden from us? La prossima.
Tenerci all'oscuro di tutte queste cose.
Are they afraid that governments will topple and currencies will fall, or that religions will cease to exist, as predicted in the Brookings Institution report of 1961 to the U.S. Congress? These fears are unfounded, for its history shows us all great civilizations rise and fall, because after great periods of growth, conservatism, then inertia, sets in to maintain the status quo. And despite the current platitudes concerning progress of politicians and pundits in the media and elsewhere, we have not returned to the moon with human beings in over a generation, 25 years. We are in fact in a serious state of global decline, while happily incognizant of our true heritage. Unless radical new ideas come forth, new ways of addressing all our growing problems, it seems likely that our only avenue is steady downward decay. La prossima. No, that. With knowledge that we are not alone and that we have never been, bring us back from the edge of peril. With the knowledge that what we are now seeing in the solar system is not some alien construct, but our own studying past, which somehow radically went wrong, and with which we must reconnect to set it right. Set us on an upward trend, expanding on present-day horizons, technology, and wealth at this most crucial time. With such overwhelming knowledge widely disseminated, bring peace to Earth by demonstrating unmistakably that we are in fact all one human kind, but currently in separate fragments on one planet. With the fatal fall in the Judeo-Christian tradition and the fatal Grecian myth, golden age of the gods and men, mythic golden age of the gods and men, in fact echoes of a splendid human past from which we have descended and then forgotten. We think so, but time will tell, and we don't have much time. Prognosticators from the ancient world through the abrupt end of all their separate calendars hint of the end of global civilization on this planet a few years from now, due to some foreseen by 20th century science planetary cataclysm. For too long have we been isolated and too self-absorbed concerning the problems that we have created for ourselves on this little planet at the far edge of our galaxy. In this research, only hinted at in the time that I have been given here, we are gazing at the fragments of an extraordinarily unappreciated epoch in the history of our own solar system.
Sorry. 5 minutes to 2, right?
Okay, 5 minutes? Yes. Architecture, even in the advanced state of ruin in which we see it, that demonstrates the grandeur of intelligent beings long since perished, who, in this project, we are increasingly coming to appreciate, may have been the ancestors of each and every one of us, and what we were capable of doing, of being. Are we the survivors of these long-lost civilizations who have somehow forgotten who we really are? Are the clues of that connectedness all around us, in our collective myths, and our amazingly convergent legends from all over the world? The face and pyramids on Mars tell us to look at ourselves in the massive forms of the Sphinx and the pyramids at Giza. The great triangular reflection in the lunar crater at Kurt is not an alien insignia, but a thoroughly recognizable symbol in our own mathematical discipline. If not, we now know, embodied in our own ancient monuments left on every continent around this world. Doesn't it behoove us, if for no other reason, for sheer practical necessity, to discover or rediscover the engineering principles of the societies who left these wonders for us in the solar system? Just as Brookings forecast over 30 years ago on at least 2 other worlds, we must wake up while we have time to the awesome possibilities of assuming once again our rightful place in a rich and extraordinarily surprising universe. To using all this recently acquired knowledge and this vast amount which still remains to be discovered, if this research is accurate, for the benefit of all mankind, not just for a favored few. In fact, there is simply no alternative. Thank you.